Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about adult sci-fi and fantasy series that I'm giving a second chance. So this could mean that they are series that I DNF'd, but I want to try them again, so I'm going to start over from the beginning and reread what I've already read, or series that I just never continued, but I want to continue, but I can't remember what happened in the first couple books. So they're just series that I want to try again. But before we go ahead and get on into the series, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post new bookish videos every Sunday and every Wednesday and sometimes on Friday. Don't forget to check out the description box below where there's links to my social media as well as my Discord where I host monthly buddy reads, and my Patreon where you can be entered into winning quarterly book giveaways. The first series I'm going to be talking about is the Raven's Shadow series by Anthony Ryan. I read Bloodsong a couple of years ago and absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And then I read the sequel, Tower Lord, and I didn't like it so much. In fact, I disliked it to the point where I didn't want to continue on with the series, which was kind of surprising because Bloodsong was just so good. And I do want to give this series another chance because I am in the middle of reading, well, I only have one book left, the final book in his other series, the Draconis Memoria series, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I feel like this trilogy was his debut trilogy, and it was just a case of the writer needing to perfect his craft. And just because I know Anthony Ryan's potential and how good his other series is, I do want to go back and finish this series. So in order for me to do that, I do need to reread Bloodsong, Tower Lord, and finish it off with Queen of Fire, which is the only book that I haven't read. The next series I want to give another chance to is the Codex Alera series by Jim Butcher. I read this book a long time ago and never continued with the series, and I actually found the completed series at a used bookstore and ended up just getting the whole thing because it was super cheap. So I have somewhere up there, I have the whole series, and I can't remember anything about this world or this book. As far as I know, it follows elemental magic. That's really the only thing I remember. And it's a series that I do want to try again, but I'll have to start with rereading The Furies of Calderon because, like I said, I remember absolutely nothing. And Jim Butcher is such like a celebrated author. I do want to eventually read his Dresden Files, but I feel like since I already own his Codex Alera series, then I need to start there first. So this is another series that I definitely want to give a second try. The next series is the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, and Interview with the Vampire I had owned at one time and I lent it to someone and just never got it back. And I remember reading Interview with the Vampire when I was probably in my teens and absolutely loving it. It was one of my favorite books. And then I attempted to continue the series. I tried to read the Vampire Lestat and DNF'd it. I don't remember why I DNF'd it. I really don't remember anything about it, but I just remember loving Interview with the Vampire so much, and I do want to try to reread that series. I need to find another copy of Interview with the Vampire because I can't remember a lot about it, and I want to reread that first before continuing on with the Vampire Lestat. And then I also own The Queen of the Damned. So I know that there's a couple other books in this series that I don't own, but I do want to try it again to see if, now that I'm older, my opinion might change a little bit, because I know that there's some things about this series that is definitely problematic. And I tried to read Anne Rice's Wolf Chronicles, which I think is her most recent series, and just did not like it. So I'm interested to see if rereading Interview with a Vampire will give me like the same impression as it did when I first read it years and years ago. And yeah, then I'll finally know if I need to keep these two books or if I can put them in the unhaul pile. The next series that I want to give another chance to is the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. I talked about this book in Popular Books I DNF'd, or one of the videos I did. I attempted to read this about 10 years ago and DNF'd it, and I am such a different fantasy reader now than I was at that age, And I found this at a used bookstore and I was like, you know, let me just pick it up. I will definitely try this series again because it is so popular. This book is like some people's favorite book of all time. I've seen some booktubers say this is their favorite book of all time. So I'm like, okay, maybe I was just missing something when I tried to read this. So I'm definitely willing to give this another chance. And I do also own the sequel, Wise Man's Fear. So it's definitely a series that I can get caught up on before book 3 comes out, whenever that's going to be. The next series is the Otherland series by Tad Williams. This is an older series. It was written in the 90s, I believe, and I tried to read City of Gold and Shadow one time, and I remember DNFing it, and then I picked it up again, and I honestly don't remember if I finished it. Like, I know I got like further along in it as I did when I read it the first time, but I honestly don't remember if I finished it. But I found the rest of the books. There's 3 other books that I'm aware of in the series at a used bookstore, so I picked them up because I remember liking this. I remember finding it interesting. I just think when I read it, it was the same case of I just wasn't as seasoned a reader with regards to sci-fi as I am today. So it's a series that I do want to give another chance to. I just remember that this book, because it was written in the 90s, it was using technology that, you know, today in 2020, it's a bit obsolete, but the whole concept is really cool. It follows like a virtual world that people can, you know, go to, and then people start going missing in this virtual world, and it's connected to our real world and stuff like that. So from what I remember, it has like, you know, similar vibes or similar concepts to Ready Player One and stuff like that. So because of that, it is a series that I do want to try again and see if I will like. The next sci-fi series is Dune by Frank Herbert. So I read Dune, oh my gosh, probably like 8 years ago, and I don't remember hardly anything about it. In fact, I remember finding it a bit confusing, but once again, I was not the reader then as I am today. So I definitely want to give Dune another chance, at least the first book in the series, but I feel like if I enjoy the first book in the series, then it's one that I will definitely want to continue because I know that there's a couple books in that series. So just because the movie's coming out next year and because it is such a staple book in the sci-fi genre, I feel like it's something that I really need to give another chance to. And to be quite honest, if the movie wasn't coming out, I don't know if I'd actually reread this book just based on what I remember and how I remember liking it. But I'm curious to see how my opinion will change and how I'll view the world and the writing style and the plot. And the last series that I want to give a second chance to is the Chronicles of Amber series by Robert Zelazny. This book I got for Christmas probably like over 10 years ago, and it's obviously the omnibus of books 1 through 10, and at that time I had never heard of this author or this series before, and even to this day it's not an author or series that I've ever heard anyone, at least on BookTube, talk about. I did read the first couple books in this omnibus, but I really don't remember hardly anything about it. I know that it follows a man who wakes up in like a modern day hospital in New York City and has amnesia, and then somehow he discovers that he is the crown prince of this kingdom in this world that is not Earth, and he has to figure out how to get back there, and once he's back there, you know, all of these things are going on. So I remember enjoying the first couple books. I don't know why I stopped, but I just want to finish it just because I own it and because it sounds like an interesting premise. It sounds like something I would want to read, and like I said, I remember liking the first couple books. So let me know if you, in the comments, if you've read anything by Robert Zelazny, or if you've read the Chronicles of Amber, because I'm just curious. It's an older fantasy series, but it's definitely one that I do want to try again and start over from the beginning. Okay, you guys, so that is it for the adult fantasy and sci-fi series that I want to give a second chance to. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. Let me know if there's a particular series that I should prioritize over others, or if you have read any of these and didn't like them. And I will see y'all soon in another video. Goodbye.